Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Simone jumping in here on the First Alert Desk. We've just learned Governor Ned Lamont is taking immediate action to try to protect farmers from rising property taxes. The governor directing the state to stick with the 2020 land use tax values instead of reassessing farmland. The directive comes after farmers whose land was getting reassessed were facing steep tax increases, and a petition was circulating to try to stop the hikes. Some farmers we spoke with told us their taxes would go up 300%, and they worried about being able to stay in business because of all of this. Now, today, the governor said, quote, "Our work to address concerns around rising land use values demonstrates our understanding of the challenges farmers face. Preserving these lands is about more than economics. It's about sustaining a way of life that defines Connecticut." On the First Alert Desk, I'm Stephanie Simone, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Stephanie, thanks. And while adults